Life has a way of making you feel like you've lost too much time. Maybe you spent years chasing the wrong people, years working at a place that never saw your worth, years trying to heal from wounds that nobody else even knew you were carrying. And if you're not careful, the enemy will convince you that your best years are behind you, that what you've wasted can never be restored, that what you've lost can never be recovered, and that you will always live beneath the shadow of regret. God is not a replacer, He is a restorer. There is a vast difference between replacement and restoration. Replacement means you get something different to fill the space of what you lost, but restoration means you get back what you lost and more. It comes back stronger, better and greater than before. When He restores, He doesn't just patch up the broken pieces, He rebuilds the whole structure until it shines with new glory. You may look at the years you think have slipped away and say to yourself, it's gone forever. But God steps into that space and says, I can bring it back. I can revive it. I can make the ending better than the beginning. Think about it. When a house is restored, the contractor doesn't just throw some paint on the walls. No, he strengthens the foundation. He repairs the cracks. He renews what has been worn down. In the same way, God doesn't just cover up the pain. He digs into the root of your wounds, the depth of your brokenness, and He brings life where there was death. He restores relationships, He restores dreams, He restores opportunities, and He restores hope. He takes what looked like it was lost forever and breathes His divine breath into it until it stands again. So often we cry over what was taken, over what we lost, over what slipped through our hands. But sometimes God allows the loss because the version you had was too small for the destiny He's calling you into. What you lost wasn't wasted, it was making room for something bigger. If He had replaced it, you would have settled for average. But because He restores, He's about to give you exceedingly abundantly above all you could ask or think. Restoration means He takes the very thing that the enemy tried to use to break you and turns it into a testimony that makes you stronger. Restoration means you don't come out of the storm empty. You come out with power, with wisdom, with a new perspective that you couldn't have gained any other way. The enemy thought he could steal your joy, your years, your peace. But what he didn't know is that God doesn't leave His children empty-handed. He will not let the locusts eat away your destiny. He will restore what was eaten, and He will multiply what remains. You may feel like too much time has passed, like your season has expired. But the one who restores is not bound by clocks or calendars. He steps into the years you call wasted and breathes resurrection into them. He compresses time. He redeems moments, and He accelerates blessings to make up for everything you thought you missed. What you thought would take 10 years to build, God can establish in one. What you thought was gone for good, He can return in a form so glorious that you'll look back and thank Him for not giving it to you sooner. This is why you cannot give up. This is why you cannot let despair convince you that your story is over. Because when God restores, He restores with interest. Just as Job received double for his trouble, so too will you. The tears you cried, the nights you tossed and turned, the prayers you thought went unanswered, they are all about to be repaid with restoration. Not just in part, but in full, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So don't ask Him just to replace what was lost. Lift your faith higher and believe for restoration. Believe that He will take the broken fragments of your life and piece them together into something so beautiful that even you won't recognize the person you've become. Restoration is His promise, and His promise cannot return void. There is a danger in believing that your best days are behind you. That is the lie the enemy whispers when he wants you to settle for less than God's promise. He tells you that the years you spent struggling, wandering, or even rebelling are wasted years. He tells you that what you missed out on can never be recovered. But I came to tell you that with God, nothing is wasted. Every tear, every trial, every setback has a purpose. He takes even the years that were marked by mistakes and turns them into the soil for your miracle. Think about the seed. When it falls into the ground, it looks like is lost. It disappears. The soil covers it. People may walk over it. It seems like it's wasted, but in reality, the seed is not destroyed. It is being developed. It is buried, but it is not finished. That's how your life works. Those seasons you thought were buried under the dirt of disappointment, rejection, and failure were not wasted. They were planted. God was preparing something in you that could not grow on the surface. What looked like wasted time was actually preparation time. Many of you look back and say, if only I hadn't made that decision, if only I hadn't gone down that road, if only I hadn't trusted that person. But the truth is, God is so sovereign that he can weave even your worst mistakes into the tapestry of your destiny. He is the kind of God who turns ashes into beauty, mourning into dancing, and despair into joy. If he can take a cross and turn it into salvation, what makes you think he cannot take your wasted years and turn them into a testimony that blesses generations? Stop discounting yourself because of your past. Stop thinking your time has expired. When God restores, he doesn't just give back what you lost. He redeems the time. He has a way of accelerating blessings to the point where what should have taken decades to achieve, you can walk into in a single season. He knows how to make up for lost time. That is why he said, I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten. Not the moments, not the days, but the years. He is a God who restores time. He can give you in 1 year the harvest of 10. You might have spent years in pain, but he will give you years in peace. You might have spent years in lack, but he will give you years in abundance. You might have spent years hidden, but he will give you years of influence and purpose. Don't you dare believe that it's too late. Don't you dare let your age, your past, or your failures convince you that your life is over. With God, it's never over until he says it's over. There is somebody reading this who feels like they wasted their youth, their opportunities, their relationships. But I want you to know you serve a God who specializes in recovery. He recovers what was lost. He redeems what was broken. He revives what was dead. And when he gives it back, it comes pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So lift up your head. Don't mourn the years behind you. Expect the years ahead of you. Your wasted years are not wasted anymore. They are seeds for your restoration. And when God brings it back, you will not even look like what you've been through. There are moments in life when you look around and all you see is rubble, broken dreams, failed plans, opportunities that slip through your fingers. You think to yourself, how could anything good come out of this mess? But what you call ruins, God calls raw material. What you see as a broken life, he sees as the very foundation for something greater. Restoration does not mean he simply patches up the cracks. It means he rebuilds better than it was before. He doesn't just give you back what you lost. He makes it stronger, wiser, more beautiful, and more enduring than you could ever imagine. Picture a house destroyed by a storm. To the naked eye, it looks like there is nothing left but destruction. But when the builder comes, he doesn't just sweep away the broken pieces and leave you standing in the dirt. No, he lays a stronger foundation. He uses better materials. He installs what will withstand future storms. That's what God does with your life. He takes what looks destroyed and he reconstructs it into something that cannot be shaken. What others walked away from, he walks into. What others gave up on, he starts to rebuild. Sometimes the reason things had to break was because the old structure could not carry the weight of the destiny he has for you. The friendships that fell apart, the doors that closed, the jobs that ended, they had to collapse because they weren't strong enough to hold what's coming next. God allows the breaking not to leave you barren, but to make room for a building that will last. What feels like loss is actually the clearing of the ground so that something new can rise up. And here, this restoration is not just about you. When God rebuilds your life, the people who once doubted you, the ones who laughed at your downfall, will have to witness the glory of what he raises from the ashes. Your life becomes evidence of his power. You become a testimony, walking, breathing, and living. People will look at you and say, how did they come back from that? And the only answer will be that God rebuilt what was broken. Don't let the brokenness fool you into thinking you're finished. Broken does not mean destroyed. Broken does not mean useless. In the hands of the potter, even the shattered pieces can be molded into a masterpiece. He doesn't discard you because you are cracked. He treasures you enough to make you new. That's why the enemy fights so hard to keep you stuck in shame and regret, because he knows that once you realize brokenness is the beginning of restoration, you become unstoppable. Your restoration won't look like your past. It will look better. If you lost years in a toxic relationship, he will restore with years of genuine love. If you lost time in failure, he will restore with seasons of victory. If you lost your peace in storms, he will restore with a calm so deep that nothing can shake it. The glory of the latter house shall be greater than the former. What's coming will outweigh what was lost. So don't curse your ruins. Thank God for them. Don't mourn over the broken walls. Start preparing for the rebuilding, because when He restores, you will realize that nothing was wasted. The tears, the trials, the brokenness were all part of the plan to prepare you for something greater. Restoration is not just about getting back, it's about getting better. Delay is one of the hardest things to deal with because it makes you feel as if life has passed you by. You see other people moving forward, getting married, building careers, achieving dreams, while you are still waiting. You wonder if you missed your moment, if somehow you fell behind and will never catch up. But what you must understand is that delay is not denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. The timetable of heaven does not match the timetable of earth, and God knows how to release blessings at the perfect time. Look at nature. A seed planted in the ground doesn't bear fruit overnight. It takes time, it takes seasons, it takes rain, it takes sun, it takes patience. And yet, when the harvest finally comes, it is always right on time. Your life is no different. Those delays you are frustrated with are not wasted moments. They are seasons of preparation. If He gave you what you asked for before you were ready, it would crush you instead of bless you. Sometimes the wait is the very thing that protects the promise. Consider the story of Joseph. He had a dream as a young boy, but it took years of betrayal, slavery, and prison before he ever saw that dream fulfilled. From the outside, it looked like wasted years. But every delay was positioning him closer to the palace. Without the pit, he wouldn't have met the Ishmaelites. Without the prison, he wouldn't have met the cupbearer. And without those connections, he would have never stood before Pharaoh. What looked like delay was really divine orchestration. You need to know that your waiting season is not punishment, it's preparation. While you are waiting, God is developing your character, shaping your faith, teaching you endurance, and equipping you with wisdom. He is not withholding the blessing, He is preparing you for it. Because when it finally comes, you won't just be able to receive it, you'll be able to sustain it. And here's the good news: God is able to redeem the time. Even if you feel behind, even if you feel like years were wasted, He knows how to accelerate your destiny. He knows how to open doors that catapult you into places you never thought you'd reach. What should have taken you 10 years can happen in one, because when His hand is on you, delay turns into divine acceleration. Don't let delay make you bitter. Don't let waiting make you give up. Keep sowing in faith, keep believing, keep trusting, because the very moment you think nothing is happening, something is shifting behind the scenes. He is aligning people, opportunities, and resources so that when the time comes, everything will fall perfectly into place. You will look back and realize that the waiting did not rob you, it refined you. It didn't hold you back, it set you up. And when the promise comes to pass, it will be so sweet, so powerful, so complete that you will know it was worth every second of the wait. Delay is not denial. It is God's way of ensuring that when you step into your blessing, you'll be fully ready to carry it and no one will be able to take it away. There are some moments in life when the weight of what you've lost makes you feel like you'll never recover. The years wasted in pain, the opportunities missed, the relationships that ended. It can feel like too much damage has been done, but restoration is not limited to material things or visible blessings. True restoration begins in the soul. What good is it to get everything back on the outside if you're still broken on the inside? God is not only concerned with giving you things, He's committed to healing your heart, renewing your mind, and restoring your joy. Sometimes the deepest wounds are the ones no one else sees. You smile on the outside, but you're bleeding on the inside. You laugh with people, but when you're alone, the weight of grief, regret, or disappointment crushes you. That's why His promise of restoration goes far beyond replacing what was lost. It means making you whole again. It means He reaches into the secret places of your life, the scars you hide, the tears you cry in silence, and He breathes healing into them. The truth is, restoration has to happen inside before it can fully manifest outside. You could get the job back, the house back, the relationship back, but if your heart is still wounded, you'll never fully enjoy it. You'll carry bitterness, fear, and insecurity into your future. That's why God's first work of restoration is often unseen. He restores your peace when chaos surrounded you. He restores your confidence when failure tried to strip it away. He restores your hope when disappointment made you stop believing. Think about Job. He lost everything: his wealth, his health, his family. People looked at him and saw devastation. But when restoration came, it didn't just come in the form of doubled possessions. It came with a renewed perspective, a stronger faith, and a deeper understanding of God's faithfulness. The real victory wasn't just that Job had more cattle, land, or children. The real victory was that Job himself was made whole. The restoration of his soul was greater than the restoration of his stuff. You may feel right now like you are broken in places no one can fix. You may think, if I could just get that opportunity back, I'd be okay. But let me remind you, what's coming to you isn't just a replacement, it's renewal. Restoration doesn't mean going back to what you had. It means God giving you something better than what you lost. It means a healed heart, a stronger faith, a wiser mind, and a deeper joy. When you let Him restore you on the inside, you stop walking around as a victim of what happened to you. You no longer define yourself by your past pain. Instead, you stand as a testimony of His power to make all things new. People may look at you and wonder how you survived what you went through, but you'll know it wasn't survival, it was restoration. So don't just pray for God to give you back things. Pray for Him to give you back you. Pray for Him to restore the parts of your heart that got broken along the way. Pray for Him to breathe life into the places you buried out of fear or shame. Because when you are whole again, nothing you lost can compare to what's about to be poured into your future. There is something powerful about the way God turns the story around. He does not just bring you back to where you used to be. He elevates you to where you were always meant to go. That's the beauty of restoration. It doesn't end with recovery. It ends with promotion. He doesn't just put you back on your feet. He sets you on higher ground. What you thought was the end of your story becomes the launching pad for a new beginning that exceeds your imagination. Think about it. If all God did was give you back what you lost, then the enemy would still win, because you would only end up where you started. But restoration means advancement. It means coming out better, stronger, wiser, and more fruitful than you were before. It means that the years of pain and struggle become the very thing that positions you for greater purpose. He doesn't just restore you to break even. He restores you to overflow. Look at Joseph again. He went from the pit to the palace. He didn't just get his freedom back. He gained influence over a nation. He didn't just recover his life. He preserved the lives of his family and countless others. His restoration wasn't just personal. It was generational. That's what happens when God restores you. Your life becomes bigger than you. Your testimony becomes a blessing to others. Your elevation opens doors for the people connected to you. When He restores, He redeems the lost time by accelerating you forward. What should have taken you years to build, He can release in a moment. That's why you cannot quit in the middle of your brokenness. That's why you cannot throw in the towel when it looks like all is lost, because the very thing that tried to bury you will become the soil for your promotion. The storm that knocked you down will be the same wind that lifts you higher. And here's the truth. You won't even look like what you've been through. When the promotion comes, people won't be able to tell that you cried yourself to sleep, that you battled depression, that you thought about giving up. The glory of restoration will cover you so completely that the scars will only serve as a reminder of how far you've come. You won't walk around bitter or broken. You'll walk around shining with peace and strength that no one can take away. This is why you have to endure. This is why you have to hold on. Because when you come out of this, you won't just be restored to where you were. You'll be lifted to where you were destined to be all along. The doors that were shut will be opened. The opportunities you thought were lost will return in greater measure. The relationships that were broken will be replaced with ones that build you up. Everything the enemy meant for evil will be turned for good. So don't settle for survival when you were created for restoration. Don't settle for getting back what you lost when God wants to give you more than you imagine. Promotion is the final chapter of restoration. It is the proof that your wasted years, your tears, your pain were never wasted. They were preparing you for the elevation that was already written over your life.